Good morning. We have today Sister Ifoma, a member of the Missionary Society or Sisters of the Holy Rosary based in Nigeria. She will be speaking to us about Mission Appeal. Okay, two things. One, I'd like you to memorize what she will be saying, because next Sunday we're going to have a short quiz. I'm kidding. Now, the second thing is I'd like to share with you what I learned from my pastor in my hometown while growing up. Whenever there was a special collection, he would only say two things. Number one, he would say, today we're not going to have noisy collection, meaning he didn't want to hear the clanging of coins. Number two said, today we're going to have silent collection, meaning paper or check. The problem with that, in my home country, coins is 1, 5, 10, 20. And the next denomination for the paper is 50. That's the problem there. So today I'd like you to be generous to hear first what Sister Ifoma would say to us. Okay? Sister Ifoma, good luck.
Thank you, Father. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. My name is Sister Ifoma Onwudinjo. I'm a missionary sister of Our Lady of the Holy Rosary. I come from Nigeria, West Africa, but I live in Ardmore, Philadelphia area. It might interest you to know that by next year, I'll be celebrating 30 years as a sister. I have worked in different parts of Africa as a missionary. I studied here at Temple University. So I'm a social worker by profession and a teacher as well. Before I proceed to tell you why I'm here today, I want to say a special thank you to the Archbishop of Newark, Joseph Cardinal Tobin, the Director of Mission Office, Monsignor Robert Foreman, your pastor, Father Joe, and the vicar, Father Antonio, the deacon, and your administrative assistant, Michelle, for making it possible for me to come today to share my mission experience with you, my fellow missionaries. I call you fellow missionaries because by the virtue of our baptism, we are all called to share our faith, the good news of Jesus Christ, with the people we encounter every day of our lives. I'll tell you briefly about my congregation, what we do, and I will ask you to please assist us so that we continue the work that the Lord has entrusted to us. My congregation, the Missionary Sisters of Our Lady of the Holy Rosary, was founded in 1924 by an Irish Holy Ghost missionary, Bishop Joseph Shanahan, for the education of Nigerian women. But when the Lady Sisters were educating those young girls, people started bringing their sick for healing. So we reached out to them through medical work. We also moved into pastoral work, community development, agriculture, or whatever that will help the people. We are only 320 of us from Europe, Africa, and America. We have our generalate in Dublin, Ireland. We have a couple of communities there. We have only 2 communities here in the States, in Philadelphia area. And we serve in 9 countries of Africa and Brazil. My experience on the missions is what I have come to share with you today. In one of the countries we worked in is Cameroon. Cameroon is in West Africa or Central Africa. There, we run a school for the deaf or hearing impaired children. These children did not come to us as regular children who go to school, or our parents take regular children to school. No. These children came to us as a result of the sisters going to villages for pastoral visits. And while they were doing that, they came across a good number of children locked up in their homes, abandoned by relatives. Why? Because they have special needs. And in that part of Cameroon, if you have special needs, you'll be considered a witch or from the evil spirit. And that's why their parents or their relatives would hide them to avoid the stigma or the embarrassment of having a child from the evil spirit or living with a witch. So the sisters said, no, this cannot be, because these children are created in the image and likeness of God. They are not from the evil spirit. They are not witches. So they took them from those homes. They built a school and a home for them and started taking care of them. But to take care of them is a challenge because it requires money to feed them and to provide their basic needs. That's one of the reasons why I'm here today, to ask you to support us to be able to do this, to continue to do this for those children. In Kenya, where I served for 11 years, I lived in a place called Thika. It's an industrial area. Following the 2007 political election, there was violence. Those factories, those industries were burnt down, some closed down, resulting to many people having no job. With that, there was a lot of things happening in the city. Joblessness, homelessness, all kinds of crimes. Of course, children dropping out of school because their parents could not afford their school fees. The sisters said, you know what, we can help this. We can chip in a little bit to help the situation. They decided to set up skills centers to teach the women some skills so that they can make little money to support their families. They built something like bakery. They gave them bakery skills, dressmaking, and hairdressing skills. We had many of them under our care that we were trying to provide the skills for. But I tell you, after a couple of weeks, they disappeared. And we were wondering, what could be the problem? We went back to the places, and when we saw them, they said, you know what, sisters, we thank you very much for thinking of us, for taking care of us, for your concern. But guess what? While we are there at the center trying to learn those skills, nobody takes care of our families. We have no food. Our children are out of school. So the only thing we can do is to go to the cities and beg. So the sister said, you know what, we can do something again. So they included food program into the skills acquisition center, so that at least each participant with their family could get 1 meal a day. That also required money to continue to do this. In Zambia, one of the countries where we serve, a place called Zimba. For the past 2 years, they have not had rain. They are not lazy people, not at all. They planted because they are farmers. They planted, but because there was no rain, the sun scorched the seedlings. And that resulted to hunger. People were dying, animals were dying. Then the sisters thought of how to help these people. So they decided to go to neighboring countries like Zimbabwe, South Africa, to buy corn, mill the corn, and distribute it to families so that they can have at least 1 meal a day. In Nigeria, where I come from, during this pandemic, we teach children. But the Holy Rosary Sisters, we are in remote areas, in rural areas. That's where we serve. We could see some of them in the cities, but most of us are serving the rural areas. There are no electricity. Can't find the electricity. So during this time, the children, we are not learning because they have no laptop or computers. No electricity even to operate those things. But the sisters say the children will continue to learn. So they will take the children and put them under the trees so that they can learn. But guess what? The children cannot sit on the floor and write. So the sisters, we are looking for a way of getting desks and chairs to provide for the children so that they can sit comfortably and then learn. But that also requires money. All these things I'm telling you today, this is just a tip of an iceberg of what the sisters do on the missions. So I have come to you today to ask you for your financial assistance, but more especially for your prayers to help to pray for missionaries, especially Holy Rosary Sisters, Missionary Sisters of the Holy Rosaries, so that we can continue to provide these essential services to our brothers and sisters that the Lord has entrusted to our care. Remember, I called you fellow missionaries. Yes, you are. Because according to Bishop Fulton-Sheen, Archbishop Fulton-Sheen, he said that missionary spirit begins with prayer, and every baptized Christian or Catholic is able to offer prayer. Prayer leads to sacrifices, and every person can give up something with the intention of sacrificing for those who suffer in the missions. That is why I have come to ask you to please make that sacrifice. We, as all of us here as missionaries, we are the voice of the voiceless. We are another Christ to those whom society rejects, or those whom sickness, disabilities, war, or life issues have made vulnerable to disrespect, to exclusion, to abuse. Help us, my fellow missionaries, to help these people, to continue to give them life. Because Jesus said in John 10:10, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. But these our brothers and sisters don't even have life, talk less of having it to the full. With your assistance, they will have life. I'll stop here. But I want to leave you with a message. And that message I will articulate in a song. Excuse me, I don't have a beautiful voice, but I will try to communicate what I want to give you today. Before I sing that, remember, I'm sure that some of you you're not prepared. Maybe you didn't know there will be a missionary talking to you today. Please assist us as much as you can. What you can do, if you are not ready, if you are not prepared now, is you can write a check. Write it to the parish, address it to the parish, but at the memo corner, write mission collection, and the parish will honor it. I'll leave this message with you. It goes this way. Hear the voice of Jesus crying, who we go and work today. Fields are wild and harvest waiting, who we bear the ships away. Loud and strong, the Master calleth, rich reward he offers you, who we answer gladly saying, here am I, send me, send me. If you can not speak like angels, if you can not preach like Paul, you can tell the love of Jesus by your actions and your life. Loud and strong, the Master calleth, rich reward he offers you, who we answer gladly saying, here am I, send me, send me. Thank you again for listening to me, for giving me this opportunity to talk with you, and I beg you to continue to pray for missionaries, especially the Holy Rosary sisters, and to support us as much as you can. Have a blessed weekend, and God bless you all.